Well, guys, it's been quite an eventful day. I went out to look at a big hay ranch. It's got a air compressor. They blow all their balers off, and they said it was they were trying to clean up all their balers for winter time and get them gone through and all that stuff and get them in the shop. But their air compressor was screwed up, so I went out there and looked at it, and here's a little Kubota engine in it. And I had the cylinder head off, and it's got two pistons that are just gouged up, and the cylinder walls are all screwed up in it, so they want me to rebuild that. So I went and pulled that out this morning, and here's remember the 8320T? If you guys watched the video on the 8320T with the power shift, well, it's back, and now it's the engine. So I don't know. I don't know if they got a bent push rod in it, or got a valve's bent, I don't know. It's popping back through the intake. It don't sound too good. See if you want to hear that real quick and see if it doesn't drop a valve when I start it. I told them not to drive it very much. It don't sound too healthy. I still got to pull it into the shop, so. But now you can hear it popping back through the intake. It acts like it's gonna. I'm just afraid if you run it too much, you're going to drop a valve and destroy the whole engine. Let's see what she just sounds like right here. What? Boy, something's really bad there. Blow-by or nothing. Yeah. Popping back to the intake. You hear it popping back to the intake. Shut her down. Next time we start it, it'll be just driving around there and get it in the shop before it blows up. Well, this guy here, he's had some bad luck with tractors this year, man. Had bad luck with his crop too. I just feel sorry for the poor bastard. Jesus. This 8320T, that was his, and the 9320T, that was his also. So he's had a very, very unfortunate year with tractors. And you know, he said, of course, here's the 7320. That I'm trying to get a hold of the one of the viewers, Deere 72, made a comment that in Denmark they're rebuilding them and they're getting their parts over here. So he said it's probably possible you can get the parts over here and rebuild this. And that's what I had mentioned that to the owners here of this tractor, because they really weren't wanting to buy a transmission for $19,000 and stick in it, you know. So if you're listening, Deere 72, if you could find out, I've been researching on the internet trying to find it. But is there any way you could contact those guys in Denmark that rebuild those and quiz them a little bit? If you could find out where they get their parts, I sure would appreciate it, man. It sure would save these guys a pile of money. And I got a 310D. I think this one's a D. John Deere backhoe. And they called and said that they were the gear shift, that they were having to hold it in with some baling twine, so it's popping out of gear. So we got to figure out if it's got detents or linkage problems or clutch collars ground up on it. Who knows? I've seen a multitude of things with things popping out of gear. I mean, I've seen them where they've screwed the shafts and the clutch collars up on them and bent the forks in them, and it could be anything. So we'll have to get that thing apart. But I'm gonna try to get that 8320T. We'll get it in here. We'll back it up against the wall there, I guess, because I got a feeling the way that thing just started and the way it was kind of trying to seize when it started, I don't know. I don't see blow-by, but that kind of makes me think, what the heck, do we got a piston stick in there or something? The way that thing was kind of seizing. See if we can get it in here before it blows up. Well, we're just gonna idle this thing. Try to get it in there. Boy, it's not good. I'm afraid it's gonna drop a valve or something. Thing is, I can't get it in these other doors. They're plugged up. I wish I could have got a hold of the driver to have him drop it on the other side of the shop. This one potato cellar here on the other end of the shop last night, half the roof blew off the son of a bitch, and it's on the other side of the shop. I showed up about 5 this morning and came in the west side door and noticed that the roof from the east side was laying on the west side. Good deal. Please don't blow up before we get in there. Get her apart. This is the same tractor that the track. I don't know if this is the track tension accumulator 1.2 or not. Jeez, he's put almost 1,800 hours on this thing this summer since I did the power shift already. Holy shit! God, they ever shut it off? See if we can get this thing turned around and back it in there before she blows up. Much anymore. We get her shut her down. I'm just afraid it's going to drop a valve and cause a lot of damage. That's probably good enough. Let's get the valve cover off, see what we got going on. But yeah, there's the roof that come off the east side of the building, laying down here on the west side of the building. I don't know, it probably blew a good 150, 200 foot section off. Wadded it all up and laid it here. There's a propane tank underneath there. So I gotta wait for the insurance company. They want to come look at it, so I can't even haul this shit off till the insurance company comes and looks at it. So, well, let's get after it and get something done. Alright guys, so those of you that haven't worked on these 8000 series too much, just if you want to do valve cover, pull your valve cover off, or work on back here on your accessory drive where your AC compressor is and all that shit back here. You know, you need to change your serpentine belts or whatever. So you got your light harness right here. Here's your wiring harness for your lights, and like one's for the lights and horn. And make sure you unplug it and route those wires up there, or you'll tear your plug-ins up pulling that hood up. And then there's 2 bolts, hinge bolts right here. Take those, make sure you open the hood up before you do this. from that end, from the front end, and then take your 2 hinge bolts out, and then just lean your hood forward, and it'll rest on the counterweight just like that right there. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to pull the valve cover off and see if we have any major bent push rod or something like that going on. Alright, got the injector. I shouldn't even really need to plug that. That's the rocker box. We're just going to be pulling the valve cover. Let's pull that, pop that out, and I'll have to get a ratchet or something to get on that one. And start zipping those out of there, and we'll see how bad it is. It's going to be half the inch. I gotta get this little Kubota engine out of here and get it gutted tonight so we can get our parts ordered for it. What size did I grab? Yeah, grabbed the wrong damn size. Should grab a little ratchet while I'm here to get that back bolt off that's hard to get to. Better not lay that there. Sure as shit, it'll fall down and ruin my impact wrench. My wife's kind of a comedian. She told one of her friends the other day, one of her girlfriends the other day, that she says, I wouldn't want my husband to ever choose between me or choose between him or his dog and me, or the impact wrench and me, because I know I would lose. I like my dog and I love my wife too, but I love my impact wrench too. Alright, one bolt left. Thing these guys need to get in the habit of, is I tried to tell him that these guys need to run their valve lash every now and then, you know, get these tightened up. A lot of times that what happens, they'll put 10 or 12,000 hours on a tractor, never run the valve lash on it, so then it gets so sloppy, then it bends a push rod, or they don't have hydraulic lifters like a car. Let's carry it down here and put it on the back of the service truck. Alright, we'll stick that one back in there for now. Let's just take a real close look here and see if we see anything obvious. Bent push rod or something like that. Kind of hard to tell. Valves. Drop a valve or anything like that. Valve stem all sticking out. Sure, it's hard to tell just by looking at it. Right now, nothing completely obvious. Oh yeah, wait a second now. I don't know what that one looks kind of funky right there. Or am I seeing things? I think I'm seeing things. I'm not seeing a problem here yet. It's obvious anyway. I think it would be an intake valve. Yeah, maybe we'll start it with the valve cover off. Let's see if we see anything with it running. Oh, might ought to unplug the injectors back in, you dumb bastard. Yeah, it ain't gonna start very good with them unplugged. Oh, sometimes I wonder about myself. Okay, now I definitely see it. Didn't catch that the first time. Yeah, the rocker, that's backed off. Is it bent the push rod or anything, or it just got loose? I can see all the way down that push rod. It's straight. It just got loose. It's kind of hard to tell if it hammered on the top of that or not. I think we'll run our valves on this thing and probably that would explain why it's down. Okay. Alright, well, we need to run our valve lash on it, and I think we'll be good to go. I'm wondering if I had to pull this one rocker off just to make sure Didn't screw that push rod up, but I can see the whole push rod and it looks fine. It's not bent. And it's sitting down in its lifter bore. Huh. It's crazy how that happened, huh? Well, I'm gonna fucking see what my valve lash is. Go ahead and check them all while we got it here. And then we'll fire it back up. But let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I need to pull that rocker box. I've done these before without pulling that rocker box off. I think I could have guessed pull it off, it'd be a lot easier. Ain't much to pull it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts, and that's it. And the rocker box is clear out of it. Alright, so we gotta get, they call this thing the carrier, the rocker carrier service manual. So unplug your injector wire harness here from your, I call it the rocker box. On a Cummins, that's what they call it, it's a rocker box. So take your injectors, all the little captured nuts that are on the end of the wires for the injectors, take them loose. This tractor is the later serial numbered one with the Denso common rail. Actually, these aren't captured nuts on these. I forgot. It's been a while since I've been into one of these 8.1 liters common rails. Been working on a lot of old shit this year, seems like. Let's just take these nuts, we'll put them down here for now. We gotta do something with them so we don't lose them. We don't want to drop them in the engine. Definitely don't want to be doing that shit. Oh yeah. So I went out this morning, pulled the engine, actually came in first thing early and seen the roof was all screwed up on the shop, and then I rent this shop from actually some guys that do a lot of work for, and they're good people, real good people. And I says, hey, the roof blew off the south cellar. And he says, well, I'm glad we got insurance. Didn't bother Mark too much, it seemed like. So then I proceeded, I had a 9940 here, I put a clutch in, and I'll tell you what, guys, you know, I'm not trying to profess to be the greatest mechanic. I'm not the greatest mechanic that ever lived, but I'll tell you what, some of these people that work on stuff, somebody had worked on this pickup, and I mean, you know, on those Fords, they have the driveline flange there on the 3/4 guns back behind the transfer case with those 12 point heads with 12 millimeter, and I mean half of them are rounded off, and I mean shit like that just drives me crazy. Just drives me crazy. Adds so much time to the job, dicking with stuff that because they, you know, couldn't get the right size wrench on it, and then they put red Loctite on every transfer case bolt in it. I had a hell. I bet I spent an hour and a half getting them damn bolts out of that transfer case. I was so pissed off by the end of that, I just went home. So I came in and finished the clutch up in that this morning, and it needed a glow plug relay, and I put a glow plug relay in it to where it'd start again, and pulled it out of the shop, and then I took off and went out to what we call Red Rock, and went out there and pulled that engine out of that. Well, I pulled the cylinder head first, saw that it had 2 bad cylinders, and then went on out to went ahead and pulled the engine clear out of it, because we're gonna have to strip it down and get it rebuilt. And then I went back out to where they call Tenant, and there was an old cat road grader, 14A road grader sitting out there that wouldn't start. He said it wouldn't do anything. They put new batteries in it, still wouldn't do nothing. Well, I walked up to it. The old guy, he was a pretty nice guy. You know, he's an operator. He's not a mechanic, and I took a 3/4 end wrench out of my toolbox, and I walked up there and I jumped across the battery disconnect switch, the cat switch on it, and turned the start switch, and it fired up. And he goes, "Are you shitting me?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Your battery disconnect switch ain't no good." Seen that happen a million times. And them old cats. There ain't much else that goes wrong with them. That's a nice old grader out there. I should have videoed that. Some of these guys, though, they don't like me in video and stuff, so I'm kind of a little leery about doing it around them because some of them don't like it, you know. Alright, got our injector wire harness undone. Now we can pull our carrier bolts out. So anyway, I got that thing figured out for them, and then I left and I came back here, and here we are. Every day's a fun time with Warren. I don't know, I enjoy what I do. I like to work. I mean, I sure as hell can't sit around the damn house. That ain't my cup of tea. I just can't quite figure out why some people just don't have, I don't know, get me on my rant again. Seems like we got a lot of lazy people in this world anymore, I'll tell you. Some guy told me the other day, he goes, "Work, that's a 4-letter word." And I says, if that's what you think about work, I says, you're going to have a sorry life ahead of you there, partner. What the hell's the matter with working? I think people have had it in this country, have had it for too easy. So a lot of them have had it too easy for too long, being on the dole, sucking on the good old government tit. And it's about time that they get pulled off the trough. Go out and get your own feed. Rocker box. Damn light, trying to find a spot for it. Okay. Try not to tear that gasket there. I kind of like to reuse that. Alright, let's get this carrier out of the way. Get back up in here, see where we're at. Okay, as you can see, that one's really screwed up. Sticking this push rod up against the case and rolling it. Okay, it's not bent or anything. I think I'm going to pull the rocker shaft just in case, and let's make sure. Let's just make sure that it's okay. Alright guys, so what you can do here, in this particular case, you know, number 6 intake rocker adjusting screw came loose, so then that valve got loose. So usually what you do to run around when you get your pin in the timing hole is whatever cylinder, number 1 or number 6 is where they're timed off of. Is number 1 or number 6 is going to be, if you're on number 1 top dead center compression, both rockers are going to be loose. And normally, if you didn't have a loose valve, both of these would be in valve overlap to where the valves would be partially open. Well, we don't have that going on because one came loose. Another way to tell is look at the next one to fire. Your firing order is 153624. So number 5, usually your intake valve will start to open up. And let's see here, where is our intake valve? And see, this one here's a little bit, it's starting to open up a little bit. See, that's usually what happens with that. The next one's going to be firing. What's going to happen here on number 6 is it's going to be number 6 is going to be on the opposite road. That one's on top dead center compression, this one's on top dead center exhaust. I gotta get a screwdriver, set of feeler gauges, and start adjusting valves. Okay, I got our lights situated again. So next one we're going to do is number 5 exhaust, which is going to be, so exhaust, intake, exhaust. This one right here. Let's go ahead and stick our 28 thousandths feeler gauge in there. It's looser than hell. I was gonna do this in the field and check it, you know, so I thought it was gonna be something like this, but it was raining like a son of a gun, and I told him, I said, I don't really want to get water all inside the engine and everything with the valve cover off, and I mean, I don't mind working in the rain, but I don't want to do stupid shit like that and ruin a bunch of water in there and screw shit up, you know. Alright, so we've got all those on this set done. So now we're ready to go 360 degrees with the crankshaft rotation, and then we'll be on number 6 top dead center. Then all the rest of the valves that you didn't adjust the first time, now you adjust. So, and I'll have to rock that back a little bit, that crank, to get that bolt out of the timing pin. Shoot. Those wires are kind of right in the way. And you would like to, you need to go clockwise rotation with the crankshaft. Should have made a mark on the crank, so what I should have done, so I'd have known when I was close. Alright, let's put a little tension on the bolt now. Not there yet. Huh. Every time I think I go by it, then it pops in. Damn. Well, I went past it. There it goes. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Like I said, every time I think I went past it, then it pops in. Now, both valves on number 1 should be tight. Yep, we're good to go. We're in valve overlap on number 1 now. Now we'll start adjusting all the rest of them. Get weaseled back up in here. So let's go ahead and do our exhaust. Would be the outside one. Well, we'll just go ahead and do the intake one right now. Of course, it's going to be looser than hell, so I'm going to tighten that screw up on it. That thing must have been making some noise for quite a while, or running rough. Should have had a little valve train noise, you would think. Some of these guys that are running them, I don't know. What the hell's the matter with you? I had a kid the other day. I've known him since he was just a little kid, you know, and he's got his own. After he got out of high school and stuff, and he worked for some of these farmers driving tractor. Then he wanted to make more money. And he asked me, how do I make more money? And I said, if you want to make more money, you have to have some kind of skill, or you have to own something where you can make equipment, make money for you. You have to do something like that. So he bought a semi truck, which I don't know these day and age there's any damn money in that anymore. That big government's got their hands in everything on that trucking business now. That's crazy. Anyway, he told me the other day, because you know, I never did really respect equipment until I had to buy my own, and then I realized that, man, you got to take care of this stuff. This stuff's expensive. I said, yeah, no shit. That's a lot of it. A lot of these guys don't get how expensive this stuff is, you know. All right, let's see here. Number 6 is where we're at. Number 6. Exhaust, 28 thousandths. Check this. Yeah, it feels fairly decent. On my damn 14 millimeter. Not sure what I did with that. When the damn phone rang. What the hell did I do with my 14 millimeter? There it is. I like the 14s on these valves. They're at 9/16 just because they're a little tighter, and if you do have to use the open end, it's just tighter on there, and you take less of a chance of rounding one off. Feels good. Alright, so both of those are done. The one that came loose and was screwing with us. So now we're going to do our intake on number 5. Alright, so then probably our exhaust on number 4, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, number 4 exhaust. We're going to fire this punk up here in a little bit. it a full turn on that thing before it started getting snug on me on the feeler gauge. Those things were pretty damn loose. Okay, so number 4 exhaust, and then we're going to be doing number 3 intake. So exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust, exhaust, intake. This one right here. And it's looser than a goose. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen this winter. I mean, the ag thing's pretty tough shape right now. Hopefully I'm pretty sure, I've always been worried every winter if I was going to have enough work, you know. Like last winter, I didn't have much tractor work at all. Because last year the ag stuff wasn't very good either. I mean, them guys, once they shut down last winter, they didn't want to spend no money at all. They were done. Now we're going to do number 2 exhaust. 28,000, and we got them all. So I got an 8300T that I need to. They're gonna bring in this winter, they said, but that's all subject to change too. They may find out they didn't make any damn money this year and just say the hell with it and wait till next year. I don't know. Alright, and then just kind of go over them and make sure that you cinched all your nuts up. They're all tight. Because you didn't forget one, which can very well happen. Alright guys, well I'm just going to put everything back together the way it was and fire it up. Let me get out of here before I fall off of here. Well guys, I got called out of the shop for a forklift that wouldn't start. Fuel shut off solenoid wire had come off. So before I left, I thought, you know, I might be gone for a couple hours, 3 hours. I wrapped a red zip tie around this one here, so I remembered which one was the problem child. I know me, I'll forget. Okay, everything's buttoned up there. We're gonna leave it off and we're gonna start it with the valve cover off. Let's plug the injector harness back in. That out every damn time. Here we go. Oh, might ought to pull the timing pin out of the flywheel. Yeah, it won't turn over with that pin in the flywheel and dumb shit. It'll bend that bolt. It sounds like it's supposed to. Not spitting and coughing and smoking. Field, give her a little throttle. Okay guys, we got her whipped. Put the valve cover back on it, pop the hood back down, and tell them to come get it.